What's going on, y'all? Neo Synapse, and you are inside the Synaptic. Today, we're going to talk about Game Update 42, which is dropping in like 20 minutes, actually. That's 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, and downtime is supposed to last about 6 hours. I want to talk about DLC 12 a little bit as well. It's War of the Light Part 2. Anyway, a couple things before we get into this. I want to apologize. First of all, I am sick, so I apologize for the vocals. And secondly, I apologize for the footage because it is pretty old. This is from the last survival mode, and I lost a lot of the footage that I had since then, moving to a new computer. But, gotta crack a few eggs to make omelets, right? Anyway, so let's get into it. So yeah, it's dropping at 9 Eastern, so that is in about 19 minutes from the time of this recording. Game Update 42. The two biggest things that are going to come in here, we got skimming and we got the progress point system. Skimming is a flight mode variant. It is not a new movement mode. All right, how it works: respec token. If you already have a toon, you buy a movement type respec token and you change it to skimming. Once you have unlocked skimming, all existing characters on your account are able to respec to this movement mode variant as long as a respec token is used. With skimming unlocked, any new characters created on your account will have access to the movement mode in character create. So when you create a new toon, if you so choose, you can choose this instead of any of the other movements. I want to emphasize that this is a variant. That means no new feats, nothing like that to be unlocked. It is just an aesthetic change to flight. They did say other variants will be introduced at some point. They didn't say when, so expect an acrobatic and a super speed variant in the future at some point. Skimming shares all feats, races, and trait functionality with other aerial movement mode variants such as flight. And they worded this way, I think, because there might be multiple variants per movement, depending on how things go as far as PS3 and time. Anyway, so that's skimming. From what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. You're on 2 discs, similar to Mr. Miracle. You can't do any changes to the discs except for, I think, how shimmery it is, maybe, as far as color. If you pick a brighter color in your color palette, it might be a little brighter. But apart from that, I don't think it does anything else. There's a little noise. It's like a little buzzing, I think. I don't know how much they've toned it down, but expect to hear some of that. And if not, thank God. Anyway, the progress point system is pretty big, especially for its first implementation, which is survival mode, Trigon's Prison. So pretty much what it means is you get to start where you left off. What that means is whatever the highest round that everybody in the group has done. So if you're pugging or with a league or with your friends, whatever the case is, whatever the highest that everyone has done, so everyone has to have made it to this round, you'll be able to pick it if you so choose to drop and leave it, come back another time, to take care of it. They're going to do it every other round. The options are currently round 3, round 5, round 7, and round 9. Once a player selects a progress point, a vote is sent to the rest of the group. If the vote passes, the event is skipped to the round selected. So if you start and you get the UI up when you hit the terminal or whatever the case is, everybody gets to vote for round 3, 5, 7, or 9, depending on how high everyone in the group has gotten before at some point. If the vote fails, you must start a new vote by interacting with the pedestal again. Once the vote has started, no one can join the instance or interact with the pedestal. Okay, in the marketplace, they're going to have new base item packs like they did before. The ones that they're bringing will be the hazardous chemical research and the industrial research pack, um, or the hospital pack. So some nice base items will be coming with those packs for those of you who like to decorate. A lot of bug fixes are coming. Um, let's see what we can find that is a little more interesting. To fix a display issue with orbital strike, that is not interesting at all. Let's see. Um, Game effects, they fix an issue where buffs triggered by a passive ability, like the tank defense buffs, would not appear correctly in the current effects menu. And they also fixed an issue with the scaled stat effects being displayed incorrectly in the current effects menu. Like I said, a lot of improvements and bug fixes. Here's one. Improvements have been made to how we synchronize the client and the server to ignore internet hiccups or spikes in the client frame rate. What that means is more responsive combat, we hope. They've also reduced the health of level 104 and higher group and raid bosses. So if you're in content and the bosses are 104 or higher, they're not going to take forever to beat like they have been. You know, busy work. We all hate it. You know, more health, taking longer to defeat the boss does not mean it's more difficult. It's just tedious. So this is a good change. I'm taking it. Let's see what else. Swooping combat combos and exhilarating dive bombs tooltip no longer states you can only have a max count of 4. I heard a couple of people talking about that. They didn't like that. Low pressure in the flight tree will now properly hit your target when they are above your character. Something interesting here. Star Labs has gathered all of the anti-nth metal meteorites they could find in the Metropolis and Gotham, and are conducting additional research on the mysterious rocks. Now, what this means exactly is I have no idea what this means exactly. So your guess is as good as mine. Changes to Link Death. They fix an issue with group loot and Link Death. Loot baubles will respawn when players return from Link Death. And they fix a bug where going to the disconnected screen due to inactivity, multiple account login, or server down when logging in, the exit button would not let you exit the game. So they fixed that, whatever that means. For powers, gadgets, the EMP pulse is now properly vulnerable to interrupt. For quantum, Singularity's projectile now flies through the air faster. That's not a faster animation time necessarily, because you still have to do the overhead pitch or whatever it is for Singularity now for the animation, but the projectile itself will fly faster through the air. I guess that's just a visual thing. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I don't know how it translates. As far as nature, Harvest and Savage Growth will now trigger the Escalating Might tactical mods. That is pretty big. I heard a lot of people complaining about this. Some people even mistook it to mean that, nature was nerfed or whatever the case. That's not the case. Nature is an incredibly powerful thing still, but what was happening is that certain powers were not getting the Escalating Might benefit. And regardless of how powerful nature is, that's not how it's supposed to work. I don't know if this is going to come hand in hand with a nerf to other things. I have no idea. I'm just reading what they're telling us here, and it was not triggering Escalating Might. So it'll be doing that from now on, which is cool. Hard Light, while in damage roll in PvP arenas, triggering consecutive power refunds in a PvP zone will trigger block or interrupt vulnerability. Okay. Let's see. A couple bug fixes in PvP. And for the races, for those of you guys who still haven't done those, the enemies will no longer try to attack you while running the Gotham Otisburg Expert Aerial Movement Challenge. That is unless you attack the bad guys at any point in the race. In Lockdown, General Craze and the Berserk Borrower will now choose a closer target to blink to. Interesting. So it's no longer the farthest target, it will be a closer target. Interesting. In Necropolis, the boss doors now close more quickly. I didn't even know that was an issue. A few new base items were added to survival mode, Trigon's Prison. Let's see, the tutorial when you're first doing the game, the starting weapons can no longer be broken or deleted. Let's see what else. Some in weapon mastery, the tooltip for dual pistol mastery has been updated to state that magnum round mastery may only be fired immediately after slipshot or kick, for those of you who use dual pistols. That's pretty much it for game update 42. I didn't go over everything. It's a lot of bug fixes, really. And the two big things were skimming and the progress point system, which will affect other things other than survival mode in the future. I don't know how exactly, but I can guess, and it sounds pretty cool in my head. Anyway, another note, I believe Mental and Ice will be the next powers to get their advanced mechanic. I'm not sure what the order is, but I believe I read Mental and Ice and then Quantum sometime later on. That's just a little tidbit I just remembered as I was doing this. Anyway, World of the Light Part 2. Okay, it is already on PC test, right? New solo content, new daily solo missions, and a new solo challenge. World of the Light Part 2 is about the fate of the entire emotional spectrum. Apparently, there's some uneasy alliance between Hal Jordan and Sinestro, and because they feel that love is endangered by this war, Carol Ferris and the the Star Sapphires have come to Earth to restore their own entity and to stop the strife and all who get in their way. So that's pretty much what the DLC is going to be out. We talked a bit before in another video about the more revealing costumes that are inspired by Star Sapphire, to show things like if you have the cheetah skin or the reptile skin, whatever the case is, a lot of the current gear does not allow you to show that off. What's the point if you can't show that off, right? So that's going to come in here. Like I said, new solo missions, solo content, Spark of Parallax, so we're going to get to see Parallax again. What else do we have? Duo, new 2-player content, Spark of Ion Duo, looks like one duo, and a couple solo things. New 4-player content, Zamaron Conversion Chamber, Avarice Impurity, Rage Impurity. The Rage Impurity is villain only, Avarice Impurity is hero only, and the 4-player regular is Zamaron Conversion Chamber. So it looks like 2 alerts, and one of those is specific to the factions. New 8-player content, Love and War is an 8-player operation. Sinestro and Hal Jordan must get Carol Ferris to join their alliance. However, the Star Sapphires have hidden the location of Zamaron and aren't welcoming any visitors. Fortunately, Sinestro and Hal have a plan. Rating 107 is required. So, get everybody up. I know most people are pretty much 108 now. But get your alts up, whatever. Get them up to 107 at least. The 4-player stuff is 106, as well as the duos and solos. Okay, new PvE gear. Players receive new suit sets and styles inspired by different Lantern Corps and the Manhunters, and new Mist-enhanced weapons. All War of the Light Part 2 gear drops are unattuned, as has been the case in the last couple. Heroes receive the Shepherd of Adara style, inspired by Saint Walker. Villains receive the Avatar of Ophidian style, inspired by the Orange Lantern Corps. All male characters receive the Sector 3601 style, inspired by the Manhunters. And female characters receive the Heart of the Predator style inspired by star sapphires. New base items, War of the Light Part 2 content will be dropping. New collections and feats. I believe it's what, 6 skill points last I heard. Yep. Earn new collections and feats, awarding a total of 6 skill points by completing War of the Light Part 2 content. Collections award new styles and base islands inspired by War of the Light Part 2. There's also a new background to select when you're at the character switching screen. Let's see what else. Most of this is just bug fixes to what's on PC test. So yeah, that'll be coming, last I heard, before the end of the year. War of the Light Part 2. So GU42 today, in around 6 hours from now, you'll be able to play it, hopefully before then. And War of the Light Part 2 before the end of the year. It seems cool, you know. I know a couple of people on test and they're liking what they're seeing so far. A few changes to mechanics and things like that will please a lot of the people who thought that the previous DLCs were pretty much just smacking or stacking health instead of challenging, you know, content. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so you let me know what you think. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll see you next time inside the Synaptic.